Hi, I'm Lisa Barrett and welcome to the Greater Truth of a Woman podcast. This is episode 15 and this is going to be our last episode of the year, and I am so pleased to have the wonderful Kirsty Russell, who is an online wellness coach. She is also a PT. She is also the first PT I have had on, because probably in terms of my work ethic and the way I have evolved, Kirsty would be more in line with the kind of work that I am trying to bring into the PT world rather than the ego side. Yeah. So welcome, Kirsty.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you on. And as we've seen before camera, we kind of got lost there for half an hour. So Kirsty, anybody that doesn't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am Kirsty Russell. As Lisa just said, I have changed my career in the last few years. So I had been a hairdresser for over a decade, and then I decided to go full-time into coaching. So I really love helping people. Even in hairdressing, I very much help people with their confidence behind the chair. They look good, they felt good, and then through my own journey, which we'll probably get into a bit, I discovered coaching and how much it can change as a person. And then in lockdowns and stuff, not that we'll talk too much about that because there's a lot of trauma still around there, but then I retrained and then went into this so that I could help people better. So launched myself as a coach, and then again this year became a mummy. So I've been taking a step back, doing a lot of growing, changing myself, and then I'm ready to hit the ground running now, coming back in.
Yeah. Busy woman. But we are also collaborating, but we'll get into that later on. So tell us really how you just went from I'm giving up my hairdressing business to I'm going to become a PT. Because I think in this world that we live in, you do kind of have, fuck it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There was lots of stuff happening, and I'd been training, and then I'd invested so much time, over 10 years becoming training to be a hairdresser. I'd went to the top L'Oreal colour specialist. It was thousands of pounds put into setting up the salon, just everything. And I never thought that I would be anything other than a hairdresser. I'd put myself in that box.
Yeah.
Because again, before I was a hairdresser, I didn't really see myself as being anybody. Didn't feel like I had anything to give to the world. So becoming a hairdresser gives me that to start with.
Yeah.
And then I seen the change in people in the chair and loved that. So I loved the connection with people. So I really didn't think that I would ever leave that.
Yeah.
And then it was just, there was personal things happening, my health had changed. I was doing a bit of coaching on the side, just for free along the salon, and I was arranging staff to come in and take over my position so that I could go coaching more. And then the universe kept throwing things at me. There was a planning issue came in, and it was it was literally you have 30 days to close or something. It was that serious. And as I'd mentioned briefly, we were off at the time going through an IVF cycle, and it's traumatic enough in itself, but in COVID, we both had to take off work and sit in the house. We weren't allowed the risk of having to get COVID. So already my income, I had to close 6 weeks unplanned. So I didn't have money saved for that, didn't know it was going to be happening. This letter landed in the middle of it. There was just so much stuff piling on.
Yeah.
And I was I could fight this, or I could see this as the universe telling me to burn the boats and just go for it.
Yeah.
Which was very scary. And then it's funny that you were at the event I was at. Sitting, and it was the sunk cost faculty, where it was you keep doing something just because you've invested in it.
Exactly.
And I was am I doing that with a salon? I think I am. I'm causing myself more stress, more pressure. To be then trying to run 2 businesses, managing something, starting something new. I was no, it's time to just call it quits.
Yeah.
And I had planned to close Christmas, so I had all my Christmas stock in and everything, and then I ended up having surgery on the 7th of December, so it was closed. I literally got back to work for about 4 days before it was just closed. Yeah. And it was it was so heartbreaking, but at the same time I was there's a bigger reason for this.
Yeah, it was a revolution.
Yeah.
And I mean, my backstory, basically, I used to work out in the community, and I wanted to be a social worker, very much connected, very much healing people, very much helping people, always want to help people. And it was I was working crazy hours. I was working that job, I was doing PTing on the side, working in the gym, and I couple of weeks before COVID, I had literally just had enough, and that was me. That was just, I was like, I have to commit to this full time, because I had invested in like doing either social work, nursing, and spent money on it, and then I just threw caution, just as you say, burn the boats. You
just have to sometimes, don't you? Which is a scary thing to do as well, and it is hard, especially too because you're used to your life and your security and everything, so when you burn the boats, you don't realise you're like in the ocean with nothing, and you're trying to stay afloat yourself then. So we'll talk a wee bit about, you have done shows, as in bodybuilding shows, so tell us a wee bit about that, because I know what that's like, and I know what training for it's like, and the prep and the after effects as well. So tell us about your experience in the bodybuilding world. So like from my experience, it probably goes back, and it probably goes back further. Like it goes right back to being bullied as a child and feeling weak and never feeling good enough. Not like being last in sports day, not getting picked for team sports. Like literally even rounders, every time I played, got hit in the head with the ball. Like it was just like, I was just crap. So I just never tried. Like I was like, no, I can't do it. Like PE, you find me hiding behind a tree somewhere to get out of it. Like it just wasn't for me. So like it's complete transformation. Like even like I started smoking at 11, and I smoked for so many years. Like, and I had so many coping mechanisms that were really unhealthy that I didn't know till I started healing. This is because I needed this to cope, and then it's like, okay. So learning to train my body, learning to move, made me feel confident. It was like, I can do things I didn't think I could do. Like there was a time I remember lifting a full kettle of water from the tap to the thing, and I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna drop this, I can't carry it. Like that's how weak I had told myself I was. Wow. So that's how weak I actually was.
So the negative self-talk and just
it was just constant. You know, the bullies had stopped long ago, but I was still saying the same things to myself inside, you know. And then what you're talking to yourself, you repeat. So that's basically what was happening. So when I started to invest in myself and like go to the gym because I wanted to be strong rather than just be skinny, because like before that I'd signed up to like the 6-week boot camp, the shred this, the shred that, and always got good results, but then stopped and wondered why have I ended up back in the same place, if not worse off, you know. And again, was very much telling myself, see, you can't do it because other people stay fit all year round, whereas you're crap, you know. Basically it was just another way of bullying myself.
It is. So, that's very, very true. So tell us a wee bit about the bullying, because I had no idea of that, and like that must have had such an impact on you, Kirsty, growing up. I take it this was in school? So primary school. So I'm the oldest of 5, so I was 5 under 5 in my house, so even that, you know, I think I felt like a grown up at 5, which you know, now knowing I'm definitely not, and I'm sure my parents didn't think that, but I took that role on as well. So I started getting bullied, and it was probably something small, and this work I went back to with Deirdre McGuire, who does a lot of therapy and stuff, and I realised that it was because there was this game, and it was Kirsty germs. Now this was a childhood game, it was like catchies. Right. But because I reacted to it, and I thought I had germs, I thought there was something wrong with me. Like I really downloaded this as something. And I was too worried. Like I didn't want to tell my family because I didn't want them to not come near me. Like I didn't want, you know, it was just like all snowballed from that. God. And it's such a small like thing that was a childhood game. But as a child, you can't actually consciously process. So I just took it that was it. There was something wrong with me, and from there, just spiraled for years, you know, until I realised, like, so I didn't think I was worth anything. I was like, even if somebody was being horrible to me, I was so glad that they actually wanted to even be in the same room as me, you know, that way. So like, it's just been such a journey. And like that led to, like, I went to high school, and then I was like, oh, it'll change, it won't follow. And then I started getting bullied there. And then my sister, she's a couple of years younger, she started the same school, and I was like, I can't stay here. I don't want them to know she's related to me in case they start like bullying her and stuff. And I just remember thinking, I was like, oh, I wonder, is it me? If I, you know, went and had plastic surgery and came back, you know, could they like me as somebody different, or, you know, like all of that. And then I moved schools in 3rd year. And I was so terrified that anyone at this new school would know that I was bullied before, because I was really trying to just fit in and not. And then I think I'd moved school about 3 weeks, and I think turned 14, and girls from the old school who I thought were friends, we met up on a Sunday, went down the street, and then we were
drinking and smoking and hiding down alleyways to do this, because obviously you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, and then they beat me up and recorded it, and it went sent round everybody, and like my head was swelling, my nose was broke, like it was really, really bad.
Oh
and
my God.
like they did say, like at that time they were like, we're going to kill you, like, and it was really terrifying. There was about 14 people, I'd say, as well, and it was just so scary. That then I just went back into myself and just didn't, like, I didn't even really try to fit in at the new school then either. Like, I sort of floated, but I was afraid to actually connect with anybody. And again, didn't know to years later that was why, you know, because I just sort of pulled back and withdrawn, and then just went into smoking and drinking and dabbling with drugs just to try and mask everything.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. That was kind of, it just felt familiar to me because I hated myself, and then having adult trauma as well on top of that, and being raped, it was like, just like you wanted to, I wanted to look different. I wanted to really look different, and I think that was why the PT thing, it changed my body, it changed my thought process about being a mom and about the way I looked at my body, because I started to think that I did actually love myself, but I was still chasing that destination. Do you know what I mean? Because it was as soon as, do you know what I mean? It was like, as soon as I do the photo shoot, and then as soon as I do that, as soon as I do this, as soon as I do this, as soon as I have breast augmentation, and then it was only when I had the breast augmentation, I was like, I have got to that point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I have really got to that point that I have done everything I can do, as in to change myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, here I am. So that was when I really knew I needed to dive into like the subconscious work. And you know, you've done a lot of subconscious work too. So you have. So let's talk a wee bit about that, because we both love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So tell our listeners what subconscious work. We both know each other through Laura, who's our RTT therapist. So, but you've done other subconscious work as well.
Yeah. So I've done subconscious work with Deirdre McGuire that I mentioned briefly earlier. So she does stuff. Her work is sort of consciously subconscious, if that makes sense. So I had done a lot of subconscious work, but it was from the conscious. So it was going back, finding the belief, right, okay, why was that? And it was very much here. Whereas working with Laura, like I had done the work with Deirdre in 2016, I think I started with Deirdre. Again, I had a lot of shame around going to a therapist about change. So like, it took me a while. There's people who do it and the wheels fall off automatically, but I very much still kept myself tied in and was like, no, I can't, you know. So again, it's hard work. Like, you have to do it, and you have to keep changing and evolving and growing with it. And then it was in becoming a coach myself to help people. I was able to help other people, and then I was still having thoughts where I was like completely procrastinating. I was like imposter syndrome. I was like repelling clients. I wasn't accepting money for helping them. You know, I was very much putting up a lot of barriers and blocks. So I was like, there's something still underlying here that's stopping me from helping more people and helping me get where I need to be in my life. And I came across Laura on Instagram, and it was about money blocks, and because I was repelling money, basically I was like, I need this. And like, we were in Australia at the time too when I started working with Laura, which is really funny that she was here and I came across her when I was away. But that program really helped, and that was the first I'd done RTT, and like it went back and it found other stuff from childhood, like maybe funny things, like I was in a room on my own and everyone else was somewhere else, you know, and I was like needed stuff and nobody was there, so that kind of thing happened. And even like other wee small bits, like being the eldest of 5, like it was just chaos at home, you know. And just there was all these things that were coming up that were sort of blocking me, like even being told, like when you're out for the shop, oh, you can't have them yogurts, or you can't have that pack and a half, you know, like, so feeling like there was never enough money, like money didn't grow on trees was thrown about a lot, you know. There was so many things.
I know, it's scary, like even those wee tiny things can impact a child. And then I suppose with you having such a long period of time where you were bullied, that is definitely bound to have impacted you. And then again, obviously adult trauma, you know what I mean. So
it is mad, but it's so worth doing for anybody, you know, because it's like you feel like, oh, I don't want to start therapy, that'll make me mad. Like I remember, I think it was Deirdre said to me, you need to start talking to yourself, and I was like, right, okay, I've came here because I thought I was mad, she's making me a schizophrenic, and start talking to myself, you know. I was like, what is this? And then I realised I was talking to myself constantly all day, every day.
Yeah.
And we all do in our own head. So it's like...
The ruminating.
Yeah, it's so important to catch it. And I'm actually laughing because in the journal I have from your inner critic to your inner cheerleader. And I was listening to your podcast, and that's a phrase you use as well. So I was laughing. I was like, that is so funny. Because it really is. You can beat yourself down or you can cheer yourself up. You know.
Yeah, totally. Me and Kirsty have done a few of the same RTTs and stuff. So we're repeating the hypnosis. But I mean, hypnosis has changed my life.
Yeah.
So it has. I mean, I thought, you know, I would be just peel a couple of layers off, but I just want to peel them all off. I just want to be my most authentic self. So I do. And like, even we done one there, are we just over 2 weeks?
Yeah.
On invisibility fear. And I mean, I have changed from then, and so have you, and I can tell from yours, and I think you can tell from mine. But Kirsty is also released a journal called Your Fabulous Life Planner, and it's, look at the size of it, it's awesome. So this was released, wasn't it Black Friday?
Yes, I think it was. I'm trying to think. It was released on Sunday this week was when it was actually ready to go, but I had it ordered, and like the pre-sale started on Black Friday knowing it was coming. So
like, you're doing so much right now, but it's amazing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, your wee girl is how old?
She's 10 months now.
Amazing. So, and this is what you've been doing then while you've been on maternity?
So I started the journal in 2021 as well, and then sort of stopped. And then, you know, picked it up again in 22. So like there's a wee copyright page in it, and it was like started 2021, then changed it to 2022, then changed it to 2023, and then changed it to, and I was like 2024 is the year. It is happening. It needs to be out in the world, and like it couldn't have come out sooner because there's so many things that I added or changed or took away, and like my design skills got so much better in Canva and stuff doing it as well. So like, what I started in 2021, when I look back, I would have been mortified to release it, you know, and even probably in 5 years' time or a year's time, I could look back at this and be like, you know, it can improve.
It's amazing, and I mean the size of it, it's absolutely amazing. And I take, you know what I mean, take my hat off to you, the amount of stuff that you're doing right now. But this is what we're trying to say, you know, when you start to heal the trauma, you start to work with the subconscious, you do have more time. You become almost like much more efficient.
You have so much more energy. And like you feel good, and like that's back to Laura and the trauma. It's like you feel like if you don't look at it, then you're not going to have to deal with it. But they're like open tabs in your brain.
Exactly.
So literally they're all in the background, like all that shit from childhood was stored, and it was going and repeating day after day. Whereas me going back and looking at it now as an adult, finding what that little version of me needed, you know, if it was a hug, if it was look, you're okay, or if it's even just this is really crap, but you know what, life gets better, you know, because too, when I was at school, like that's a phrase that everyone kept saying to me, school is the best days of your life, what are you talking about? And literally that thought nearly made me end it so many times, because I was like, if this is the best, then what's the point, you know? And like I would never say that to a child, especially who's struggling in school, because I remember how that felt, and it was like, if you're already feeling like there's no hope and that the world's scary and horrible, and people's telling you this is the best time of your life, you know, it's not necessarily. So
it's not necessarily a good thing. I know.
And then closing the tabs, doing the unconscious work is the best thing, because otherwise it's still running your life behind the scenes. You know, and that's too what I've put into the journal, so that people who haven't worked with beliefs can start, because it's really important. So like in the journal, so it's a 12-week coaching companion really, so it's like a coach on your coffee table. Mine is now living in my handbag, and like it arrived to me on Thursday I think, and I have been using it every day since, and I'm loving it. So I'm like, yes, this is good, you know, it's going to help me, and then whoever else it helps as well. So like even in the process of creating it, I was like, if it helps one, then I'm happy. But like so far there's been 20 copies have sold out of the 50 for pre-launch, so I'm buzzing. Like so buzzing about that.
So good. You should be so proud of yourself. It's so lovely, and it's just packed with gives a wee dive into it. It's packed with meditations, coaching skills, and it's so pretty. So it is. So where can we find this?
So at the minute from my Instagram page, so it's _Kirsty.Russell.coach at Instagram. So you can send me a DM to get on to, I'll send you the link then to get it. I'm still working on the actual sales page for it, so that the link's there and ready to go. I suppose there's a wee bit of me wanting to make sure everything's like perfect with it before, which it should be. So the
messy action, Kirsty, messy action.
This is, because that's my wee edited copy. So the full edits have been done and it's arriving Tuesday, Wednesday next week, because that's the delivery time and stuff. But again, that's just the logistics of it. So it's so good for people because there's just so much in it. Like there's stuff to do daily. So there's the wee daily sheets that you can like do your to-do lists and all that stuff. But there's also a place for your gratitude. I have a wee thing called your 5-star finish. So it's literally it's setting the bar quite low, but with sustainable habits that are going to change your life, like having your 2 litres of water a day, doing a meditation, having a nourishing meal. So again, it's not putting that pressure on to have healthy meals all day long. It's having a nourishing meal. Like you've had vegetables, you've had some protein, you've had carbs, you've had some healthy fats in there, because again, no foods are bad foods. You need to sort of include them all.
Exactly. You have to live a balanced life, and us going from ripped to be more balanced in life and as people, really, and trying to teach women this. This is the way the coaching world, and I feel the PT world, should really go, because in our industry, and we talked about it, there is so much ego, and the ego is doing damage to the women, because women are coming away from these things. They're not learning about themselves. They're not learning good sustainable habits. Do you know what I mean? They're going from this end of the scale to that end of the scale, they get to the transformation, they feel fabulous, and then it's like the wheels come off and
spirals, and
and the weight goes on tenfold, and then kind of situations
because you haven't learnt.
Exactly.
And that's even I mentioned as well from doing the show, like stepping off the stage, I should have been the most confident in the gym I ever was in my life, because I'd been so consistent for months and months on end. And like I walked in to do a session after I'd done the show, and I felt like I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. And then I started to beat myself up a wee bit, because I was like, people are going to think she's done a fitness show and she's in here and she's not knowing what she's doing, or she's being stupid, or whatever. So it's like, it's mad the things that we go through as women, but like that's too why like online coaching and sort of hands off is important for me, because it helps to actually build your confidence in the gym.
I agree. There's
that. Now people do need to work face to face too, if you are, if you really want to check your form and stuff, like, and have that connection one-to-one as well, it's important. But one-to-one, you can sort of accidentally do it for them. Instead of
I do have clients like that, but that are not willing to learn. I have them I have really good repetitive clients that way, that aren't willing to learn. They just come here and they're like, you do everything. And they get the exercise, the workout, whatever. But overall, I want people to have learned something when they leave me. So that's why the online platform, that's why trying to teach them stuff in classes, because you want them to learn, you want them to be a little butterfly, you want them to fly off, you know what I mean? And you watch them from afar, I've had people that wouldn't have had to come here. I think the last one was maybe like she was coming for about 1.5 years before she would even step into the gym on her own, because again, she was bullied. People said things to her that they shouldn't have said to her, and also an incident happened in a gym, so that really put her off. And then it took her 1.5 years, like through coaching, and then to step into the step from one-to-one to online,
because so you do forget sometimes as well that first step into the gym is so hard.
It is.
And like, I'm trying to break that stigma, because everyone in a gym is trying to better themselves.
Exactly.
Most people,
people.
And even the ones who have the ego on the top, really, they're still there.
They're still there trying to better themselves,
so if they could do better, they would. So it's like, it's remembering that it's actually a nice place to be.
I know.
But everything looks scary. Like,
It does look scary, because like I've talked about it before, when after I had Justin, and obviously, and you'll know this, being a mum, your body changes. Your body completely changes. And I remember sitting outside the gym and crying, and I'm like, I do not want to go in here, and I feel, and you really think that everybody's looking at you in the gym, but they're not.
No.
They're really not. And back then I took the wee fit, and that was how I got fit again, basically, and just doing it from home. And then I was like, I need to do something with this, because I just want to help people as well. So
it is, I feel that big time, because like even when I had Robin and stuff, I was very much in it, like I'd stayed fit up until having her, and then my labour wasn't really that great. It was rather traumatic, and there was a lot of stuff, so I was healing a lot longer than I thought I would be. Because like I thought I would be 6 weeks back in my jeans, whatever. Like I'm still not back in my jeans. She's now 10 months. I don't have no want to be in my jeans either, you know, that way. And it's like, I feel like I've just changed so much, but in the house I was doing stuff because I wanted to be strong, you know, and I wanted to sort of take care of me, because me working out turned into, it's more for my mind than it is for my body and physical appearance, and it's that strength and resilience that you build, and it's just all them lovely things. So I wasn't so important doing that in the house until I got signed off to go back to the gym. Then I got signed off to go to the gym, and I went once. And then it was like 2 months later, and I was like, I've stopped doing all these things, because I think had the fear of going out, and the fear again of, I am now an actual qualified fitness instructor, PT, like all these strings and bows and courses, and I'm still in the gym with that bit of gym anxiety, thinking, oh, I shouldn't be here, you know. So I've joined a gym again now myself that I go to, and I'm loving it. Now this is week 5 starting back, but like it's getting me back into strength training, which again is the thing that really built my confidence to start with.
And it was the thing that really built my confidence too.
And I think that's why we're so passionate about it too, isn't it? And we really want to help women, because so many women have never touched a weight because it's scary to go into a gym. They think everyone will be looking at them, like they don't know what they can lift, so like a weight itself looks scary. I know, you know.
I really took to strength training because once I realized that it would build me muscle, and I was like, no man is ever going to be able to hurt me again or do that to me. And that was kind of that was like, I just wanted to get ripped and bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean? Yes, on the scale of things there was a bad side to it, but it was also
really positive,
a really positive thing. There's many other things that I could have done. You know what I mean? So
because when I was doing my preps and stuff, so I started doing the prep for the photo shoot, and like my mum and all was like I used to go out and drink on a Saturday night and remember nothing, like wake up on a Sunday in the depths of depression for maybe half the week, because I didn't know what had happened. Like I used to get my self-worth as well from like if I got attention from men in the pub, then that meant that I was good enough that week, you know, and like all things like that are just not healthy ways. But it was like, it was just so unhealthy. And then I started these healthy habits, like going to the gym, eating better, drinking water, and like mum was like, oh, you need to be careful you don't hurt yourself. Oh, you need to drinking too much water is bad for you. It was almost like I'd been so unhealthy and nobody batted an eyelid. It was like that was completely normal. But then I started these healthy habits, and it was like, why are you doing this? Like, you're going to get hurt. And then it is hard, because you're battling that as well from people who don't understand.
People who don't understand that you've changed and you've healed these parts of you that were ruminating and, you know, the inner critic and torturing you and telling you these nasty things, and all of a sudden evolves a new Kirsty and a new Lisa. Do you know what I mean? And nobody has a clue. And Laura describes it as well when the RTTs about, you know, like it's almost like you smell different. Do you know what I mean? And I've had to say a lot of goodbyes, and a lot of good for me. There had to be good goodbyes, because basically I can't have these kind of people in my life anymore. And I think you've been the same. And that's so hard. Like as well, like I think for me as well, because I struggled so hard to get friends. Then when I had friends, it was like, oh God, actually this relationship isn't healthy. Like I had a lovely relationship with a girl who I was friends with for the guts of 10 years, maybe longer. And then I realised that was so negative. And that sort of negativity constantly going was pulling me back and was draining me, and I was like, this can't continue, and if I want to become a better person, this friendship needs to end, you know, and I need to go on. And even because I wanted to cling on for a while, I was trying to make it work, but I was having so much anxiety because I was afraid to go to them and tell them how good my life was and all these good things I was doing, because I was like, they're still sitting in their same shit, you know. They don't, not that they don't want you to be happy, but that's familiar. Do you know what I mean? It's familiar to go through that, to feel the negative. It's easier to be negative than what it is to actually catch yourself and be positive.
Yeah, because it's so hard, and change is hard, and I actually started the journal with a bit on change, because as humans we want to stay the same because it's safe, you know, and it's programmed right back to the caveman days. Like it's beyond us, like it's so hardwired that that's what it wants. And like, safety isn't always happy, you know, it's just familiar, but our body doesn't know that we're not happy, so it just keeps us stuck because it's safe, you know. Whereas it's like, to break out of it, you have to get out of that comfort zone, and you have to push past, and you have to do new things, meet new people, you know, create new relationships, end old ones, and move on from it.
It's very, very true. It's like when I sort of, along the lines of when I was doing my training for PT, and I said a lot of goodbyes then too. And then because of COVID, some came back into my life. So it was like, oh, right, okay, so this is meant to be. But then as I have evolved, I was like, no, this has to be.
Disappear again.
Yeah, this has to be the way it is. Yeah, because I can't live like that anymore.
Yeah, and I find for me as well, like I used to be able to go and do things and like not talk about, like gossiping, something I quit probably about 8 years ago. But there was times I was able to sit and listen to other people do it.
Yes.
And just be, again, happy to be in that circle and be part of something. And then it was like, I realised, I was like, actually, that's not what I'm about. I'm not about, like, I love talking about goals, people's goals, and what they want to do and how they're going to get there and how their business is doing or how their family, but not talking about somebody over there who's doing this, who's doing that and doing the other. You know, it's like... talking to you about it. But if you were to start talking to me now about Laura's business, that's Laura's business, you know, that way. So as much as the three of us could talk about it together, it's something, if the person's not in the room, I'm not interested. I
couldn't agree more. And funny you're talking about this, because me and my wee friend Nikki have had conversations about this as well. We do, when we're sort of in like friends or whatever, and you're listening to people gossiping, I'm like, that has no interest in me whatsoever. So low vibe as well, isn't it? Like, it's like soul destroying even listening to it. And it's not good for your soul. It's not. But even for me, like I find I ended up in toxic positivity as well, like with the salon closing, with I'd ended friendships around that time. There was health things there was so much happening. And I actually lost my wee niece as well in that January, and it was just so hard, and there was grief. But there was so much grief, and I was just trying to pretend everything was fine because I was now a coach and I should know how to handle these things and whatever. And I was like, my life's great and the universe is telling me to do this. But I didn't even realise I was almost holding myself there too. I could be in a place where I could actually cope and deal with the grief because it was so hard, and so like it felt so deep to the core, you know. And then that layer of grief was attached to stuff that had obviously happened through childhood, right back to the past. And it all just bundles together until again you start to release it and heal it. And like for me as well, the big thing that helps me to heal is like the saying, hurt people, but heal people can heal people too. That's very true. Funny, I said that the other day to somebody. Because I was thinking back to a version of me, and I was a very hurt person, and I did hurt people on my journey. I'll not sit here and say that I haven't, you know. But it's such a true saying, you know what I mean? It really is. Like even when I started to become a better person, then I was punishing myself for the things that I'd done and hurt people over the years, because I did at times become the bully in school because I was so worried about being bullied. If I didn't do, I thought, oh, if I don't do this, then somebody's going to bully me. You know, so I ended up then not being a nice person. But again, now I can say it's because I was so hurt inside, which again is no excuse, you know. And again, I am very sorry for the hurt that I caused, and you do be. But if I could have done better, I would have, you know. So now I can. So I'd like to think that will never happen again, you know. Very, very, very true. Well, let's get the topic of food and nutrition, because old versions of us would have ate a lot differently to what we eat now. We eat a lot more balanced, and you're actually trained in nutrition as well. Precision nutrition. So tell us a wee bit about what your old version of you would have eaten a day. So old me, I would have skipped breakfast.
So I would have been having a cigarette in the car on the way to work, running late, cursing because I was running late, stuck in a wee bit of traffic because of the school run, like getting to work already stressed already in that panicked mode. Being back to back to maybe lunchtime, maybe if you ran over, there was no time to actually eat lunch. Then going after work and getting a chippy takeaway and having that for dinner, and then sitting eating crisps, chocolate, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then on a Saturday, I wouldn't have had anything to eat because I was going out drinking on Saturday night, so I needed my calories for alcohol. So like that was the way that I lived most days. Maybe if I did have time for lunch, it was like something from the deli across the road, like sausage rolls or chicken curry. Like it was very much just easy food that I hadn't made. And even like clients were always lovely. They would have treated you and brought you buns, and that felt lovely, and you were shoving buns into you. And like I remember one day I didn't even like cream eggs, but somebody got us them for Easter, and I was like, oh my god, and I shoved the whole thing in my mouth. I didn't even like them, and like the amount of sugar in that, you know, it's like it's just mad the things you do. But my relationship couldn't be further. Like I didn't understand that you needed to eat to fuel your body, you know, so that you could be strong and healthy and live a nice life.
It's funny you say that, because that's a term I use all the time. Food is fuel. It really is. Chapter 4, week 4 is all about fueling your fabulous life. So it's all about, it's teaching you about nutrition, it's teaching you protein, carbohydrates, fats, and also veg, and the importance, because sometimes when we don't know why, then we rebel. Like I think I did struggle with eating as a child. Like people tried to force feed me, like and out of the goodness of their heart, you know. But at the same time, it didn't help me in my relationship with food. So that then when I had choice in what I was eating, I was like, well, I'm not eating that, vegetables or whatever. I was like, no, I don't like that. I'm not. But for years, I didn't try food because I was like, I don't like that. But now I'm like, actually, I was just sort of rebelling a wee bit, and now trying these things, realising this, and two, when I first started to change my eating habits, it takes a while for your taste buds to adjust. It does.
Yeah, like you think, but then you try it and you're like, oh, this is nice, and then you start to feel good because you're eating something that's fueling you well. And like all that changes as well with your relationship within yourself, with your relationship with food, and then you just show up differently in the world as well. So
you do. And like I was an over restrictor, that was my thing. And with anxiety, it was like something that I could control. It was probably the only thing that I thought that I could control. So I was like a proper over restrictor. And then if I was eating, then it was maybe junk food, or it was just not eating right.
And then did you have lots of guilt and shame with that as well?
Lots of guilt and lots of shame, and that's all tied into like childhood trauma and stuff, because stuff showed up to do with food for me. But that was my thing, was restricting food. And then once I became massively involved in the gym, and then I was like sort of changed my ways and stuff. But funny, I was a no breakfast girl, and nowadays I hate missing breakfast. Really don't dislike it.
I know I can't live without my breakfast now. I
can't go without my eggs in the morning.
It's so good. But it was through the gym that I then started to realise, because as I said, I was at the gym and I was weak as anything. Like I literally, there was times I couldn't even bicep curl at 2.5 kg, which fed into me being weak, being pathetic, all the rest of it. But that's again, I wasn't eating anything all day. I didn't have anything in my system, and like I was on spin bikes, and I was like, the faster you go, the more sweat, you know, that's just fat crying. Like these are the things I was telling myself, and it's so hard. Like anybody, if I'd go back and give me a wee hug, you know, if I seen anybody doing that, I'd be like, come here, you're all right, you know, you don't have to do that.
It doesn't help, but there's probably a million memes out there with it on it too.
And it's like sometimes it's thrown around as if it's a good thing, you know, but there's a time and a place, I suppose, for everything.
There really is, especially in this, like the way we have evolved even in our own coaching journeys. And you're becoming a Reiki practitioner as well, and I have become a Reiki practitioner through doing the podcast, listening to healing, and wanting to build programs that actually do support a whole system. Do you know what I mean? Support the transformation, help with healing, help with the past, help with the future, you know. So because it's so exciting, isn't it? Like I just love it. I love that the change is happening as well. I know. And what drew you to Reiki? Because everybody has a wee story around Reiki.
So I really don't know. Like, it was literally August this year, and the girl Fiona Parker I done it with in Newcastle, and she's lovely, and I go to Fiona she does breath work and breath and sound and different things, and like it's really, really funny too, because my mum and her mum were friends, and years ago actually done aromatherapy together and done Reiki together as well. And she had trained, and I was like, oh, I love that you do this is brilliant, but never seen myself doing it. And then she advertised she was running a course in July, and it was my sister's birthday. I was like, oh, I can't do it. The next one came up, and I thought, why not? I was like, I'll go and try it, and then I went and just loved it. Yeah, like it literally just felt like it just flowed in. You know, it was meant to be.
It is. It does happen like that. I did the Usui first, but I was more drawn to the angelics, and it's the angelics that I practice the most. As I said, you would love it.
Yeah, because that interests me, but I don't know much about it. Yeah, you know,
it is. It's a really beautiful energy. Yeah, and it's lovely. I love it.
It can be hard to describe the energy stuff as well.
It really can. It can, because everybody experiences it different. So when you have Reiki, some people experience like the colors. Some people experience like feelings, like touching. Some people just experience the emotions. Yeah. Some people will get like past thoughts in their head. There's just so many different ways to experience energy. Yeah. But we're all energy, and we're all different as well. Yeah. You know?
It is. It's so good. Like, I think for me at the minute, it's just practicing it has helped me to stay grounded.
Yes.
Because again, like them first 3 months this year of having Robin, I was definitely in fight or flight. Like, I was in pure survival, which again, I needed to be. I had this wee human who was now dependent on me and everything, and then I started going to yoga class one evening a week when she was sleeping, and that was great. But then I'd finished, and then it took me, like, it was probably another month or two, and I realised that my mood had dipped and I wasn't showing up as who I wanted to be, and I realised I wasn't taking time for me, because it's so easy to get busy doing stuff for other people, especially when you're a recovering people pleaser, you know. It's like,
I agree.
So it's easy to fall in that cycle. So then it came up at a time, and then it was like, right, now you have to do that for 21 days, obviously after getting attuned. I was like doing it, and then I found real flow with it. But then again, it was like something happened, and then I got out of the flow of it, and then but now I'm trying in my days to add a wee 5 minutes, because I was doing like a full ritual where I was making my golden milk with my turmeric and being like setting all these intentions, but it was taking me an hour. Yeah, you know, and it was just not sustainable. Whereas now I'm like, no, I can do a wee bit and it's enough, you know. And it's always working for you, and I just love it. And I am excited for January for the next one, because it's nice that you can actually send healing out. Now I feel like it's something that I can almost intuitively do already. Yeah. But it'll be nice to be able to do it on a deeper level and be able to know that I can really help, you know, somebody else with it, because it's the understanding too. Everything you learn, you get another level to it, you know. And
exactly. Funny you saying about the distance. My wee friend wasn't feeling well yesterday, and I'm actually starting to do ceremonies. She was supposed to have a ceremony here, and then she was too sick, and then she was like, but you could send me distance healing. So I was like, right, okay. So I went home, and I was like, I'll be home in about an hour. I actually recorded it, put the music and all in, and I was like, I can't believe I just done that, because like I would never have done anything like that. It was like 12 minutes long. It was 12 to be exact.
Yeah, that's meant to be.
I know. So there was definitely something in that, and even when I listened to it back, I was like, I'm actually really proud of that, you know. Good. She was like, that's amazing.
And so should be. It's so funny though, because that's obviously like a version of you now that you never ever imagined like you would transform into. I'd
have been saying, who the fuck is she? Who does she think she is? Do you know what I mean? That was one of the things I used to say to myself. Who do you think you are? You know, who am I to be this?
And I think my self-healing led me to do the journal more as well, because I have recorded meditations and stuff in it as well. Like, because meditation for me again has been a powerful tool for transformation, because it's actually stopping and learning to go inside. And it's not always about doing a full hour session. Like sometimes literally meditation, like I was meditating in the car on the way here, just breathing, you know, consciously breathing. How am I feeling? You know, nerves are normal. You're doing something different. You're speaking on a podcast. You know, it's a big deal. But like I would have used to feel them nerves going to the shop, you know, or like doing something small. So it's nice now that they come up at the right time.
When they're supposed to be there, when it's something you care about, or, you know what I mean?
You've got the tools to then help and bring yourself back as well, which is nice. But with like that, I was like, I'm going to have to go and do a course so that I'm qualified in taking people through meditation, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was doing the Reiki training, like it came to me, I was like, you already are enough.
Yeah.
Like, and that's been a big thing from joining the final chapter program with Laura.
Yeah.
This year for me, it's been like I've done all the stuff. Like I've won the bikini show, I've bought my dream car, I've had my own business, like I've done all of the big things. And then realised that it was sort of unfulfilling. Like that, like you saying earlier, you're chasing all the things down the road. It's I'll be happy when I get the thing. And like, don't get me wrong, I was happy in doing all these things, but I was always looking for the next and the thing to be like, oh, people are going to think that I'm now important because I have X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, I literally couldn't care less. Like me showing up as I am is enough, you know.
That's it.
And I think having Robin helped because she is so perfect and she's lovely.
Yeah.
And like she's great. And I'm like, we're all that. It's just the world then messes with us. And
no, it is. That's the way trauma impacts you, and the more it goes on in life, it just impacts you.
So healing that and working with that helped me to then get all of the things I wanted to put into this out. And get it onto paper and get it to a point where I'm happy to actually launch it publicly as well, because
amazing.
Yes,
it's called your Fabulous Life Planner.
It's your journal. Sorry, it's a wee small word, but it's your journal and Fabulous Life Planner. So it's like the 2-in-1. So each week you have your learning section. Then there is a wee weekly mini mission to help you. So each week it's chunking it down. So we all have big goals. And sometimes they look that big you can't get near them because you're like, I don't know who that person is that does that thing. So it's starting small. It could be 1 week adding more water. Next week it could be adding more protein into your food. Next week it could be getting an extra gym session. If you don't like the gym, again, you don't have to go to the gym. It could be finding something that works. If you played tennis as a child and loved it, it might actually be finding a tennis club and joining them, going and doing that. You know, it's about finding habits that serve you. And then there's a wee place daily then to write down how you're feeling, what it is. There's a place to brain dump. Like it's about making it suitable for you. So whatever you need that day, you put into it. And like if there's a section that calls to you as well, you can go to it instead. So like the way contents page is color coded. So like if there's something that's really like appealing to you that day and you feel like, oh, actually I really need to learn about nutrition, like you can go there, right, that's the green section, and you can flick over and you're there, you know. So then you can literally do that first, and then you could go back, you know, you can use it as a 1 to 12, or you can pick out what you need when you need it, because it's yours, you know. And that's why I called it your journal and Fabulous Life Planner, because yes, I've created it, but I've created it for you and for whoever needs it and whoever's going to use it, because it's just going to be such a powerful tool for transformation, you know.
It is, it's class, and it's like, I know what your answer will be to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Like your thoughts on the new year, new me, you know, because we're coming into that time, the new year, new me. People in our industry push that a lot. And at one stage, yes, I did. And I thought new year, new me had to do. So tell me what you think, what's your thoughts around the new year, new me?
So I think we've all been programmed to believe we need a new year, new me. But really we need us. We need the us that we are, the me that's inside. That's the you that's important. So it's getting to know that. But even as me becoming a coach, I thought I was going to be a weight loss coach, because yes, when I lost weight, then I got confidence. But now I'm a lot heavier than I was when I got my confidence, and I'm still confident, if not more confident now. You know, so being a certain size is not where confidence comes from. Losing weight is not where confidence comes from. It's not where health comes from. Like, it can be the complete opposite at times, as we've both been through ourselves and seen. So it's so important to just get out of them cycles. But again, it's all conditioning. Like it's all been wired in our subconscious over the years. Like I remember the Special K ad when I was wee, and it was literally, what was it, 2 bowls of Special K a day, and you'd lose whatever it was for your holiday. Like, and all these things are in us without us even knowing. You know, so that new year, new me, and even the fat loss, like I sort of felt like I was almost marketing as that, because I felt like I had to offer that, when really sometimes people might actually not necessarily lose weight, but they'll get a lot healthier and happier, which is my thing, which doesn't sell as well. because
it doesn't, but it takes people to move through it.
And it's important.
People like me and you to talk about it as well, you know. So it's the new year, new me is driving me crazy. And like doing that invisibility block, when I first became a coach, I did strength training classes and I wanted to really move forward and take small groups and stuff. But I never wanted to be seen on Zoom, and that was linked into different things as well. And lifting that alone has been even able to take me on to Zoom to just do it. Brilliant. And you know, it's not for me doing that. It's not even about, you know, weight loss. I hadn't even promoted that as weight loss. It's about movement, getting up in the morning and moving. You know. Another thing that people will not tell you in our industry, you know, it doesn't have to be in the gym, strength training. It's movement. Movement will help with the weight loss alone. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what kind of movement it is. And that's one of my other 5 stars. The ones I forgot to finish earlier was movement, and then 5 belly breaths as well. Because like they are small. But they're powerfully important. And like, even for anyone who doesn't know what a belly breath is, because for years I didn't, like, we all breathe, we do it 24/7 without even knowing, but a lot of us breathe in our chests, and when we're breathing into our chest, then we're not actually like stimulating our vagus nerve, we're not going into rest, we're sort of staying in that stressed state of fight or flight. So it's like really about breathing in, filling your belly. So it's not Instagram breathing where we're sucking in and we're trying to look perfect. It's about letting your belly expand, letting it fill with air, and then really breathing it out and focusing on that too. So like all these things, they're small, but they make a difference. And sometimes too, like there was a time where after operations and stuff, I wasn't able to move, but I was still fitter and stronger because I was working on my mind, you know. So it's realizing that it doesn't have to be all or nothing, which again is in the journal. What you're trying to promote is an all-round an all-round transformation that's going to support you in every life way.
So the same as me. Exciting.
Before we finish up, we're going to talk about, so me and Kirsty are collabing at the minute. We are involved in a book. So we're really excited about that, and we're involved with other really great women as well. So I'll let you tell it, because I've talked about it.
It's the Book of Breakthroughs. So it is a collaborative book. We have fabulous women from all different walks of life, and they all have such a powerful short story to share. A lot of them are coaches, but some of them aren't, and everybody's just here to help. And it's really sharing our stories of how we got our breakthroughs, and then giving you tips that you can actually implement to get the breakthroughs in your own life as well. And the whole book itself is just it's a wonderful transformative process for us as well, isn't it? Like,
obviously we're doing inner work as well through it.
And even like becoming an author, because like obviously I've released this, but I don't feel like an author yet. Because that's not a proper book. Yes, I've written stuff for it, but it's not being part of a book.
So that's what kind of made me step into it. But as I talked about in one of the other podcasts, I'm dyslexic as well, and I was kind of ashamed of being dyslexic, and I was like, I could never be an author and whatever. And doing this, I'm being supported. So have you finished your chapter yet?
No. I have all my bits still scattered. I haven't put it together. There's bits that I would probably take in, put out and whatever, so I really need to, I think getting the journal finished was my focus there for so long. I was like, right, this needs to be done. I want it out because 2024 was the year. You know that, right? I know. So it was like, it had to happen, and then I've still got a bit of time for the chapter, and I felt too that it was important to have the journal out, because this I feel is so important, because again, coaching can be expensive. So the journal is 50 quid, you know, so it's easier, it's more, anybody can sort of access it, whereas coaching isn't always that way, you know. So for me it was getting that out, because that's going to be in my chapter as well, because that's an important part of who I now am and how I help people, because again, all these things have helped me and still help me daily. So it's like, that's important that was done almost so that it could be put in. So now it's there. Now I can put it all together, you know. But it's hard, because you want to share value and you want to give stuff that's going to be important and help people too, because it's really hard to share your traumas and your lows, because it's hard. Because of what obviously being on here, and I have shared pretty much a lot of raw footage, you know, a lot of raw stuff, and when I took to writing, and I was like, that week I took to writing, I felt quite dark. I got quite upset, and it's all stuff that I have talked about before, and like putting it onto paper, it's like
reading it back, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I had so much compassion for myself and like joining the dots back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? I'm so proud of you as well. Like, I can't wait to read your chapter.
I know,
It's so
I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading everybody's. It's going to be amazing. So our launch date is April, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it's April. Me, Kirsty and Laura, I think, are going to be holding like a retreat launch day as well in the Rabbit.
That's going to be so exciting.
I know, it will. I really can't wait. We don't really have much more details around it.
The dates and all need confirmed, but it's just going to be class.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I don't know if a few of the other authors might be able to make it as well.
Yeah.
As well, but it'll be a really good day. Really, I'd say that'll be a real transformative day for people.
It will. I think it will be a transformative day for all of us,
Yeah. That'll be so good.
So stepping into a wee bit more power in 2025.
Yeah, it is. Being visible.
Yes.
Showing women. Well, you're already doing it with your podcast over the last year. Like, as well, like, how proud are you of yourself that you've done a year of podcasting, like, and helping people to say their voice and speak their truth. It's amazing.
When I started this, I was like, right, I'll do one a month, and it just kind of rolled, and like, you're number 15.
Yeah,
you know, class. So I've already overextended my goal, so I have many more for next year. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the launch of the book. So I am. It's going to be awesome. So Kirsty, tell everybody, you said Instagram for this.
Yes.
Tell people where they can find you.
So Instagram at the _Kirsty.Russell.coach. And then I will be bringing out TikTok, so I'll get you to tag that when I have it ready. But it's not out there yet. And then on Facebook, just Kirsty Russell.
Okay.
So that's where I am at the minute. I again started off my coaching as Kirsty Dugan Coaching, then I got married and everything had to change, and then I've changed so much that I was like, a rebrand is on the way. So my rebrand, I think, is nearly out, and of course the journal is sort of in the middle of that, so I might as well just reveal it here now, will I?
Oh, go for it.
So it's going to be Your Fabulous Life Coaching.
Oh, that's lovely.
So it's simple, but it's literally what it's about, and it's about mindset, movement, and nutrition. The 3 pillars. So that
it fits in well with who you are and who you've evolved to.
And
that's
again,
really nice.
I want women to feel fabulous.
Exactly.
Because we're taught that fabulous is the stage, it is the covered in glitter and the tan, but it's not always. Like, even now, I don't even wear makeup anymore. Like, I used to have to doll myself up to do anything, and now it's like, actually, we're all fabulous inside without all these added extras. Are lovely, and you can have them if they make you feel good, but at the same time you don't need them. You know, so it's so good. But thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Here, you've been amazing. We could actually literally fill probably days, really days worth. So for anybody that wants to contact me about the podcast, you can contact me at shecantransformations.com. You can also watch the podcast there as well, as an easier way. And Kirsty, thank you so much for coming on, and I am actually excited for what we have to look forward to for next year together as well.
It's great. I can't wait to collab more. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, so well done.
Yes, thank you so much.
That was great. Really, really good. Really, really free flowing. Lovely.